election where them do. We still dey wait for the change. All the promise where them make, they gonna be like say na fake. Where the money, where the food, as everybody want it. Since you come, the tears are playing. We don't tire to complain. I see the part where you been do. Just say that you are into 97% and 5%. You don't be broke like president. You Nigeria with sentiment. I take your office to revenge. Oh yeah, now all Buhari, we dey beg you. Make Nigeria no go back for your head, you. Yes, sir. After the election, where them do, we still dey wait to see the change. All the promise where them make, they gonna be like say na fake, you. Where the money, where the food, Nigerian people want improve. But since you come, the tears are paid. We don't tire to complain. We're planning for the youth. And security don't improve. Inflation don't hit the roof. Still government know they say the truth. I am a brother, this change now, yeah. Down to the suffer, pray God for Nigeria. I am a sister, this government now, yeah. Down to the suffer, pray God for Nigeria. After the election, when them do, we still wait to see the change. Cause all the promise when them make, you don't be like say na fake, you. And where the money, where the food, Nigerian people want improve. But since you come, the tears are paid. We don't tire to complain. Yes, economy just the fall, but it just the trouble around the world.
Alexa, turn it down to 0. Thank you very much for joining me from wherever you are watching from. This is Mayegun Live, and I welcome you again this morning to today's sermon as usual. So read the caption of the broadcast, right? Make your own contribution as well. I wish we can take a calls today, but I don't think we can do that in this environment. So let's just listen and watch, and then I'll read your comment as time permit, and I'm going to be very, very brief and concise as well, because there's so much to catch up on. But before we go further, please share the broadcast. And if you are very much or easily triggered by truth, please don't watch this broadcast. Stop right now. Opt out. Go and do something else. Because the truth I am about to share or reveal will actually hurt you somehow. Because I am not going to be so courtesy or use any word of courtesy for these guys when I'm going to begin to describe the way I see their their criminality that some of you call leadership. Mayegun's Diary is a platform that is for concerned Nigerians and for concerned humans who have or still have feelings, who don't, because of politics, because of their tribal relationship, or their religion, or societal class, whatever they call it, decided to shield the truth or use another word of coloration to describe heinous crimes against humanity by hiding behind all these madness, religion, tribe, politics or party, and so on and so forth. On Mayegun's diary, you will hear it from here, blunt, uncut, uncensored, not how you ever see it anywhere else. And that's something that triggers so many people, and especially those Facebook adsmen. I'm talking about those social media bandits, the Buhari Danes and the Buhari Diderins, the Buhari Denotus and the Buhari Dijatus, the Ungoziaris, the Unekaharis and the Buhari Shukus, the obedient fools, the humbled slaves, and the sophisticated morons, the Mumu Madus, the Bele lecturers, and the Mumu lecturers. I have always been very blunt on this platform. This is not where you ask for someone not to be biased. If you need where people praises your demigods, there are countless, thousands of platforms created by these street urchins, by these social media cretins who are defending the indefendables. So, and I've told you, don't come to Mayegun's diary asking for any kind of, any kind of positive, or how do you describe it, balanced report in the face of this humongous crime being committed by those you gave the power to. And that is why this platform is not for you. I have here those who are Buhari Danes or Buharists, they love to call themselves, who also love what we do on Mayegun's diary, because apart from the political side of it, it is more expository, it is more, kind of enlightening on Mayegun's diary. There are things you need to know to really forge ahead in this crazy, mad country that Boko Haram have created for the rest of us. And that is why many are now asking, let us end the marriage now. Divide Nigeria and save lives. Even those who are clinging onto power because they were born to rule are not even beneficiaries of this power. Security, zero. Corruption, highest. Think about that. So divide Nigeria and save lives. So don't come to my platform and give me any advice. That is why we have been doing our environmental sanitation in the last 2-3 days. It is deliberate. It is targeted. It is targeted at those who are just ordinary miscreants, suffering and smiling, dunderheads, who would rather hide behind the cloud or that deceit that the con man has created for them to start living in the hoopla, living in the created fake successful country they are talking about. So I'm raging, I'm angry. So you don't come on Mayegun's diary to ask for any kind of support. Find that elsewhere. This is not where you do that. If you want to defend Jaga Bandit, Tifnumbu of Lagos State, there are countless platforms that you can go to and praise him. It's so good that you guys are many. There are so many WhatsApp groups where you always entertain yourselves with these fallacies, with these lies, with these fake realities that some of you are living. Meanwhile, you are all endangered species. If SARS don't kill you, cut short your life, cut short your dream, they will disable you or extort you, exploit you, treat you like a piece of rag. And when someone talks about that and tells you that there are people who are actually responsible or should be responsible for those atrocities, you get enraged, you get mad. You want to have an opinion. Opinion on what? That is right, and those people who are responsible shouldn't be called out. This platform is not for you. And that is why we will continue to clean you out of here. Responsible people take out time to sit down and, listen to what Mayegun has to say or Mayegun's diary. You miscreants, you have no place here. And I'm saying this, if some of you are watching me, okay? Get the fuck out of here and let responsible, reasonable people enjoy the platform that they have managed, nurtured to be what it is today. Mayegun's diary didn't become Mayegun's diary because of you miscreants. because of you Facebook adsmen, because of you ass leakers, Buhari Danes, Buhari Ditanis. If wishes were, what do you call it? If wishes was something that could come easily for you guys, you would have Mayegun's Diary shut down in the next 1 minute. Is that not your dream? So what the fuck wants you here? Get out of here, and if you don't get out, your comment will give you up, and I will clean you out for the responsible people on this platform to enjoy the page. So let's say it the way it is. Nigeria is at war. Only a country at war. It's only a country at war that you will be hearing the report, the news of villages being ransacked, people being displaced, people being killed, like we are hearing it from Nigeria. But a typical Nigerian who want to hide behind religion will say, don't let us start asking for war. It is not war. You are at war. And your government is funding 2 wars. Your government is funding those who are waging war against the country. Then your government is also funding the soldiers who are fighting those who are waging the war. 2 wars. You can never win if you are waging 2 wars. You can't win. You will win none. And the, what do you call it? The collateral damage will be the people and their livelihood. And that is exactly what Buhari has brought. But there's one very interesting topic I want to talk about quickly, just before I get to that. It is about this $100 million that Buhari's government is planning to pay Bagudu, Kebbi State Governor. I will tell you the story. But before that, let me give you the background of exactly how the whole thing began and where we are right now. So don't let them twist it for you. Don't let those illiterate, ignorant Facebook adsmen, don't let them twist the story. I will give you the full story now. And this is what is so interesting. One moment. Good. So this is from Bloomberg News in the US. So this is their report. They said US opposes Nigeria plan to hand over looted funds to governor. The background story. Nigeria plans to hand $100 million to ruling party official, that is Bagudu. Former dictator Abacha estimated to have looted $5 billion. The US is opposing plan by Nigeria's government to hand over 100 million. To hand about 100 million, the American authorities say was stolen by deceased former dictator Sani Abacha to a top ruling party official. The disagreement may hamper future cooperation between the two nations to recover state money moved offshore by Abacha, who Transparency International estimates may have looted as much as $5 million during his 1993 to 1998 rule. A commitment by Nigeria to transfer the funds to Kebbi Governor Abubakar Bagudu appears to undermine Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari's pledge to quell rampant graft in Africa's top oil producer. The US Department of Justice say Bagudu was involved in corruption with Abacha. The DOJ, Department of Justice, also contends that the Nigerian government is hindering US efforts to recover allegedly laundered money. It says it traced to Bagudu. Buhari's administration says a 17-year-old agreement entitles Bagudu to the funds and prevents Nigeria from assisting the US. According to recent filings from the District Court for the District of Columbia in Washington, Nigeria government is filing a case on behalf of Bagudu because of a 17-year-old agreement signed by the Obasanjo's government to allow Bagudu that we will not prosecute you if you cooperate with us, that you tell us where Abacha keep all the money, where you help Abacha keep all the money. Bagudu, in agreement for his own freedom, he signed that agreement that he forfeited his own money, his own share of the loot. He forfeited the money and agreed that Nigerian government will not prosecute him because of that again. Buhari's government, 17 years later, Buhari's government is bringing out that agreement that Bagudu signed then with who? With Obasanjo. And the agreement was Bagudu would not be prosecuted if Bagudu agreed to tell them where Abacha keep all the money, which Bagudu agreed with Obasanjo. But there was no agreement that Bagudu will receive money in return for doing that. Rather, the agreement was he would forfeit his own share of the money to Nigeria for his own freedom. He was already in jail. Let me continue. So Buhari is the one in court in America right now, Malami, trying to tell America that Bagudu deserve money from that money that Nigeria is going to receive from Abacha loot. This case illustrates how complex and contentious repatriating stolen assets to Nigeria can be, said Matthew Page, an associate fellow at London-based Chatham House and former Nigeria expert for U.S. intelligence agencies. Instead of welcoming U.S. effort, Nigeria's lawyers appear to be supporting the interests of one of the country's most powerful families. Neither Bagudu nor a spokesman for Attorney General Abubakar Malami responded to requests for comment. A spokesman for Buhari said the settlement and the litigation were matters for Malami. I will tell you about Malami again as well before we end this broadcast today. Malami, a criminal, Attorney General of Nigeria. Successive Nigerian government have sought to recoup the money looted by Abacha, who died in office, and have so far repatriated more than $2 billion with the cooperation of other countries, according to U.S. courts filings. In the case involving Bagudu, the U.S. in 2013 initiated a forfeiture action against a host of assets, including 4 investment portfolios held in London in trust for him and his family, according to the district court filings. Laundered money. The Department of Justice said in February 3rd, in a February 3rd statement that Bagudu, 58, was part of a network controlled by Abacha that embezzled, misappropriated, extorted billions from the government of Nigeria. Bagudu is the chairman of an influential body of governors representing the ruling All Progressive Party. He is the chairman of the APC Governors Forum right now. Despite the forfeiture action being initiated following a Nigerian state request in 2012, Buhari's government now says it can't assist US because it's bound by a settlement Bagudu reached with administration of the then President Olusegun Obasanjo in 2003, according to court filings. Buhari is in America right now. Buhari's government is in America, telling America that, you see, that forfeiture of property of Bagudu in London and other places, we can't help you because you shouldn't use that as a reason why you won't pay us Abacha loot. Because even from that money you want to pay us, we owe Bagudu $110 million from that money. Buhari is in America right now, telling Americans that the money stolen from Nigeria that was about to be returned to Nigeria, one of the thieves who stole the money deserves to get $110 million from that money. That is what Buhari is telling Americans. And he is telling Nigerians he's fighting corruption. So if you deceive yourself, don't deceive us. We are not deceived. Now, he said under the terms that accord, under the terms of that accord, which was approved by a UK court, Bagudu returned $163 million of alleged laundered money to the Nigerian authorities, which in exchange drop all outstanding civil criminal claims against him, stemming from his involvement in government corruption, according to a December 23rd memorandum opinion by District Judge John D. Bates in Washington, D.C. Obasanjo told Bagudu, if you tell us where Abacha money dey, and you give the money to me, I will not prosecute you. You will not go to jail. Obasanjo didn't give Bagudu money. Obasanjo didn't say, oh Bagudu, if you give me this money, I will give you some shares. Rather, Obasanjo that Buhari is using as excuse today did not agree to give Bagudu money. Throughout his time in office, he didn't give Bagudu any penny. 17 years after, Buhari is telling America that Bagudu deserves to collect 110 million from Abacha loot. I'm coming. My battery is running low on this system. Investment portfolio. After Bagudu, so Bagudu then sued Nigeria. This is where it gets interesting. After Bagudu successfully sued Nigeria for violating the 2003 settlement, Buhari's administration, there was no violation, no. There is no violation of any agreement, no. But because Buhari's government is in power, they decided to cook up a case to make Bagudu deserve to collect money. He now sued Nigeria that you collected money from me. You're supposed to give me some back. Under Buhari, Buhari's government now want to honor a non-existing agreement with a thief. Listen. But Buhari's administration reached a new agreement with him in October 2018. Buhari's government now reached another agreement with Bagudu. Based on the 2003 agreement with Obasanjo, they made a new agreement with him in 2018, October, according to the court filings. That will result in the transfer of ownership of the investment portfolio worth 141 million euros, which is $155 million to the Nigerian state, which would then pay 98.5 million euros to Bagudu and his affiliates. According to Bates' December 23 opinion, the funds are currently restrained by the UK at the request of the US. So when America noticed the game they want to play, America decided to tell America decided to tell the UK, you know what? All that liquidity, all the money you want to return to Nigeria, Nigerian government is telling us right now that money, they are going to give about $110 million to one of the thieves that made a deal with us, who forfeited all those properties. Now we want to return the property to Nigeria after the thief forfeited them to us, that he agreed that he stole them, he forfeited them, left for Nigeria. We released him. Bagudu was in prison in Texas. During the plea bargain, that was when he agreed to forfeit all those properties. Now, in 2018 October, Buhari's government made a new deal that now make Bagudu entitled to receive part of the diluted fund they want to return to Nigeria. That is Mr. Integrity. A shame that should be shaming you, if you have any shame in you at all. This is the background of all the money returned to Nigeria from Abacha money under different governments. In 1998, it wasn't even Obasanjo that started going after Abacha. It started immediately Abacha died. In 1998, the government of Abdulsalami Abubakar, the military junta of Abdulsalami Abubakar, received $750 million from Abacha family. Immediately Abacha died. And Abdulsalami Abubakar, who knew about and let me tell you how they managed to steal Abacha money. But I'll come to that. Let me first give you the background of how much money have been returned of Abacha loot in the last 22 years, or let's say 20 what? 22 years or 21 years. Abdulsalami Abubakar chased after the Abacha family. Immediately Abacha died. He managed to recover $750 million. Obasanjo in the year 2000, a year after Obasanjo came to power, it was the first civilian government to receive Abacha loot. He received $64 million in 2000 from Switzerland. In 2002, Obasanjo's government received $1.2 billion of Abacha loot. In 2003, from Jersey, British Island, Obasanjo again received $160 million Abacha loot. In 2003, again, Obasanjo's government received $88 million Abacha loot from Switzerland. In 2005, Obasanjo's government received $461 million of Abacha loot from Switzerland. In 2006, Obasanjo's government received $44 million from Switzerland of Abacha loot. In 2014, Goodluck Jonathan received $227 million of Abacha loot returned. In 2018, Muhammadu Buhari's government received $322 million of Abacha loot from Switzerland. In 2020, Buhari's government will receive another $308 million of Abacha loot from Jersey, USA. So in all, Nigeria has received from 1998 to year 2020, Nigeria have received a total of $3.624 billion of Abacha loot. And that is the same Abacha that Buhari told you never stole. Now let me give you the background. When Abacha was in power and Nigeria became a pariah state, something happened. No country wanted to trade with Nigeria. And therefore, Nigeria had nowhere to really save any money. So what happened then was, the money Nigeria has as our foreign reserve was more or less like a frozen, if it ever existed at all. So Abacha then used so many proxies to keep Nigeria money away. So when Abacha died, so many of them, many of them, both Nigerians and non-Nigerians, who were managing some of this money for Abacha then, managing to sell Nigerian crude through the through the back door in Europe, even though Nigerian trading with Nigeria was completely banned or almost banned then at the time. So these people, one of them is Abubakar Bagudu, a young accountant or something it was called, a young guy, a normal that their camaraderie, what's it called, they are not done RNG level, right? It is close to the head of state. So whenever they wanted, so they needed to start putting some of this money in investment, because you can't really carry them as cash and start taking them everywhere. No bank will even take them at the time. So they were investing Nigeria money in properties, in so many other investment portfolios all over the world, all over the places where you were not supposed to be able to trace them. So those are what is called, those are what they call the Abacha loot. So what then happened is Bagudu ran into trouble water sometimes in that 1998, especially when he was a star guy among them at the time. So he ran into trouble water. He ran to America. He was arrested by the Interpol. He was investigated. In fact, he was more or less like in prison at the time for money laundering. America, when they notice some strange movement sometimes in their dragnet and all of that, they found Bagudu. They now realize that he is actually an agent for the dead Nigeria dictator Abacha. So it was bigger than what they thought. So it was a big thing. So it led to more discoveries, led to the fact that Bagudu at the time had to make a deal right? Meanwhile, Obasanjo was telling the whole world that he needed, with Nigeria is poor, he was begging the world for debt forgiveness. He was begging the world to return Abacha loot. It was, if some of you who are not too young at the time will remember what I'm talking about. So Obasanjo was already a pally with, was it George Bush? It was already a pally with America. It was a new darling, a new democracy in Africa. So it was easier for Nigeria to share some intel with America. That led to Bagudu having to agree to a plea bargain. What is that plea bargain? Bagudu was in trouble. America just caught him for violating their law. He wasn't stealing their money, but he was doing money laundering, which is a big crime in America. Now they've discovered something bigger. So first, they are going to confiscate whatever transaction he was doing at the time, and every other traces of a corruption they traced to him. But if he left, if he left American prison, Nigeria is going to get a hold of him. They're going to ask him for Abacha money. So it was easier for him to negotiate on both sides. I am ready to tell you everything I know about Abacha money. But I don't want to go to jail. I am just working for someone. And I also want Nigerian government to assure me that if I tell them where all Abacha money are, they are not going to prosecute me. That is what is called forfeiture agreement. Forfeit everything. You don't steal, they don't catch you. Now leave on, they go. Or continue to hold on. Go to court, lose, go to jail, still lose on. The guy settled for, I will tell you everything and I will give you everything. So as he settled with a plea bargain in America, they released him. When he got to Nigeria, he made another, he signed another agreement with Nigerian government that the same thing I told Americans is what I will do for you, Obasanjo. I'll tell you where the money is. Then you can go and repatriate them. But if I tell you, you will not prosecute me. Obasanjo said, okay, tell us. See how much Obasanjo alone recovered. Because of that agreement. See how much he recovered. There is nowhere stated that Obasanjo gave Bagudu money. Even at a point where Obasanjo recovered $1.2 billion. He didn't call Bagudu and say, come and take 100 million. You are a good boy. But in 2018, before then, Bagudu then joined politics. Are you with me? Steal money, join politics, become holy, send people to Mecca, pay school fees, take pictures with homeless people, tell them you love them. You know what I mean? Feed them. And then become elected. Even though you are the real reason why they are where they are. Bagudu joined politics in Kebbi State. He didn't join politics for any other reason than for protection. He needed that political protection. And he found his way to the camp of Mr. Integrative. Buhari. Don't ever call him Mr. Integrity. You are soiling that name or that noble description. Buhari is Mr. Integrative. So he found his way to the camp of Mr. Integrative, Buhari, and he became a senator. Then, he has so much money. He will only tell them what he will tell them. Thieves. Abacha loot was so much that, you know what I mean? Nigeria will continue to receive it. You receive Abacha loot till thy kingdom come. And these are the guys who made that happen. They are the guys who made that happen. They are so rich because they are thieves. So he has so much money to throw around. He bought his way all around. He became a senator. And in 2015, he was one of those who bankrolled APC as well. In the north, especially in Kebbi State, he became a governor. Another story, before I get to that one and the agreement they made. Another story. The only source of looting in Nigeria under Abacha was through Niger Delta oil. That is a statement of fact. The only source of looting, if you see them say they are returning 1 naira of Abacha loot, they are returning that 1 naira of that oil money they stole. Because there was nothing to steal from the north. There was nothing to steal from the entire south. Except for that oil. because he was the one that was giving them forex, foreign exchange at the time. It was easier. But there is something that so many fake historians have tried repeatedly, and they have failed repeatedly to change about what I'm about to tell you. When Abacha was the dictator, there was another sadist, a terrible illiterate sadist, a core religious bigot, who was running the affairs of the petroleum sector at the time. It was called the Petroleum Trust Fund, PTF. And that sadist is today's Boko Haram. True to call. Go and confirm it. So, the connection from both is this. Abacha was a despot, right? He turned Nigeria to a pariah state. No one want to publicly trade with Nigeria. And they had oil that keep flowing. Therefore, they needed someone to buy this oil. And there are people who are ready to take that oil to the world, even though the world tells us that we will not trade with Nigeria openly. But the two people running the oil sector at the time, uncontrolled, unmonitored, free hand, they were who? Abacha and Boko Haram. Two people. So, and to this day, you will never see anywhere they say they found a bank account that says General Sonny Abacha, 100 billion naira, $100 billion. You will never find that account, ever. Even the living thieves that you call leaders today, you will never find any bank account where you will see Olusegun Obasanjo, 100 billion naira. You will never find one, ever. You will never see anywhere they will say Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, 1,000 billion whatever. You will never find any, ever. Do you know why? Because they don't do it. People do it for them. And they call those people proxies. You can tell yourselves different lies. Make it look like, well, maybe not. But Bagudu is a good example. He became a governor after looting Nigeria dead, destroying the entire Niger Delta. They even killed Ken Saro-Wiwa, just to shut the people of Niger Delta from talking. And that every penny they are returning now is being looted by the same characters who played the biggest role in this haste. Abacha loot, Abacha loot, Abacha loot. Buhari, Mr. Poor Man, his children were schooling in the UK. They were in private schools in the UK. They were getting everything like, Buhari, Mr. Poor Man, Buhari, Mr. Poor Man. The proxies are looting Nigeria under Abacha, killing everyone who will try to speak up. And at the end of the day, how many years later? 17, 18 years later, they reunited. Bagudu became governor. Buhari became president. Same time. In 2018, Buhari's government decided to raise non-existing agreement with Bagudu. Non-existing. And Malami, Attorney General of Nigeria, mobilized lawyers, paid them with Nigeria money to go to America and tell Americans that there is an agreement with Bagudu that will not make them cooperate with America on the Abacha loot again. Think about that. You can't fault me on that. You cannot call me someone who hates Buhari because of this truth I just told you. You can't. You can't fault me on that. Nigeria is described as a country that has been ravaged by poverty due to successive corruption from successive governments over time. then there is a government who says we will stop corruption. We will stop corrupt people from accessing our resources. Now that government is not stopping people from stealing. The government is in fact defending thieves to continue to rob Nigeria. That is the description I have for it. The money is being returned to Nigeria. Then you assembled lawyers. You paid them to go to America and say, you know what? All those properties you sold, everything, you are returning the money to us. We will no longer continue with all the investigation against Bagudu because we have an agreement with him not to prosecute him, which is true. There is an agreement not to prosecute him. Then they say we have an agreement to pay him. There is no agreement to pay him. Buhari made that agreement a new one to pay Bagudu $110 million from Abacha loot in 2018, October 2018. That is more or less like 15 years, or let's say 12 years, rather, 12 years after Bagudu agreed to forfeit those properties. Buhari is the worst criminal to ever walk the surface of the Nigerian earth. Let me be honest with you, you may not like it, but it is what it is. If you are supporting the Buhari and you are there standing up like an idiot on social media, you are suffering from a mental disorder that is yet to have a real diagnosis at all. You don't understand the trouble you are putting yourself in. Because the same way you have been manufacturing corruption fight in your warped mind, that Buhari is fighting corruption, whatever that means, is the same way you believe that Buhari is fighting Boko Haram to defend Nigeria or Nigerians. Let me tell you a story again. Corruption is everything. It's not even just about stealing. Corruption is everything. In 2014, Jonathan's government was about to catch a thief, a pension thief. His name is Abubakar Maina. A pension thief. They brought the guy. You know what? Pensioners have been suffering. People have been stealing their money. There have been so many ghost pensioners. Blah, 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 blah. Come and clean this place. Digitalize the place. Let us know the real pensioners. Blah, 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 blah. The guy came, wipe out the real pensioners, put in proxy names. Then he started paying himself. He has so much money that even his son has guns. His son. When they wanted to arrest his father, the guy had to pull out guns on DSS. What happened? When the guy was about to be arrested, he ran away from Nigeria. When Buhari came to power, miraculously, Maina just got returned to Nigeria. It didn't just return. Maina got reinstated. He was promoted. Then he was transferred to the Ministry of Interior. And he was paid about 2 years that he ran away from Nigeria. They paid him every month of that year, 2 years. They promoted him. They transferred him to another ministry to hide him from all of us. But the news broke out. When they asked Buhari, they said they didn't know. He wasn't aware. Remember? So Nigeria is at war. No matter how you choose to describe it. Bandits, herdsmen, and those who are living in denial. You come on my page, right? You come on my Egun's Diary. You want to sound intelligent. You are defending Buhari. You want to sound intelligent. Where do you want to start? Even Buhari himself is not intelligent. I can play you his videos. You can pretend like you are as dumb as him. You come on my page. You come to denying the obvious. You read about it every time. You say we are over-exaggerating it. Simply because they've not killed you, have you? Don't worry. It's just that when they kill you, you won't come here to tell us that you are dead. We'll just realize that your Facebook will become dormant again. Because probably you've got trapped and got killed. You come on my page. When I have thousands of Nigerians as well who are watching all over the world, who have families in Nigeria, who want to know what is going on. But the what do you call it? The social media herdsmen, bandits that many of you have turned yourself into, living in denial of this obvious, is threatening them on my page. And that's why I have to get rid of many of you from here. You don't belong here. You are worse off than, I don't know how Satan is, right? But the way it's been described, many of you are more cold and deadlier than that same Satan. Death doesn't come to you. You start comparing. Is it today they started? My friend, shut up. Some of you are so dumb and so stupid as well that you have you even have the confidence, you have the courage to type and say, why don't you come back and fight them? Because that's what stupid people do. They love deviating. You have a government that is telling you that we have destroyed Boko Haram. You have a government that is telling you that Fulani herdsmen are foreigners and bandits are not Nigerians. And then the same government turn around again to tell you that they are Nigerians and we need to give them land. And you think you are smart, defending such, asking me to come back and do what? Because you have government that is sponsoring war on both ends. Yeah? So the government decide who will die this week. To the point that your security agents are now manufacturing lies just to sound woke, like many of you dumbas, or dumbasses on social media. Yesterday in Gakida, I think that's what the place is called, Gakida, in Adamawa State, the Boko Haram came. They operated for good 6 hours. Good 6 hours. No police, no military, no, what do you call them, Air Force, no nothing. For 6 hours. People got killed. Properties got destroyed. I mean, you know what the rest is? They will be arrested and they will be prosecuted. They will be brought to book. On the other hand, your government wants to... Meanwhile, it's just a shame that sometimes it sounds like, oh, we are just over-exaggerating it. But the danger that lurks therein, for the ignorance to see, is so scary. This is it. Your government wants to establish agency. A senator who happens to be a former governor. What's that? Something Gaydam. But let me use Senator Gaydam from Yobe. Is the immediate past governor of Yobe State. Right? APC governor. Under his watch, Dapchi girls were kidnapped. Under his watch, atrocities like killings, village ransacking and all of that were more like constant. The same senator, when he managed to get himself to Abuja, you know, you keep wondering, when you see war-torn areas, people don't get the time to come and register to vote. But in the northeast, the drama of these areas is that you see millions. Borno State will give you like 1.5 million. Yobe will give you like 1.6 million. All these places will give, Adama will give you like 1.8 million. And you start wondering, Jesus, who are those giving them the vote? They said they are writing the vote. This senator got to Abuja, or this former governor got to Abuja, and is now moving a bill, a motion, to establish agency for repentant Boko Haram fighters. He's in Abuja. His state is on fire. His people, the people who voted for him to go to Abuja, they will be looking at me, they will be expecting it to at least move a motion or move a bill, submit a bill that starts an agency that is specifically for the Boko Haram victims. You know what I mean? But don't be deceived. What that senator is asking for, Buhari already gave it to them. He just didn't call it agency. And I'll give you the background. And even upon that, it still never worked. This senator is in Abuja. He wants agency for Boko Haram. There is something lurking behind, and I'll tell you today. When Buhari came to power, Buhari started something called Presidential Committee on Rehabilitation, something of the Northeast. Their job is to go to all the northeastern states where Boko Haram have destroyed, displaced people. That was before herdsmen began their operation, because those ones actually made it worse. So Buhari started this Presidential Committee on Rebuilding Northeast. Their job was, after the military must have sweep out Boko Haram. You see those people who are living in IDP camp under Goodluck Jonathan, they will then return them back to their houses. New houses being built by the Presidential Committee for boom. Then on the other hand, Buhari and military, they now also created what they called Operation Safe Corridor. As Buhari promised the Boko Haram victims, I will return you back to your houses, which never happened. Bandits and Fulani herdsmen send more people to IDP camp. But there is one that is working very well. Think about this and listen to me very well again. Buhari came to power. He created an agency, a presidential committee, to go and rebuild and rehabilitate Boko Haram victims in the Northeast. Then, with the army, Buratai, Buhari also made another arrangement for Boko Haram fighters. He called it Operation Safe Corridor. That is, if you are a Boko Haram who have killed, destroyed, you know what Boko Haram is all about, right? Or maybe you are arrested when they were raiding Boko Haram and you said, oh, you are innocent. It's not true. I'm not a Boko Haram fighter. Okay, we'll give you identity. You couldn't convince the army, the Nigerian army, so they arrested you and you are now in the camp of repented Boko Haram. Two agencies. The one that the senator just want to try and make it law so that more repented Boko Haram member can be recruited into the Nigerian army, and through that agency to legitimize the legality of rehabilitating terrorists while the war, rehabilitating terrorists and releasing them back to the society when the war is still not won. It's a plot. The one they created for Boko Haram victims didn't work. The people didn't go back to their homes. Rather, more people, more Nigerians, more Northerners, more Northeasterners, they join IDP camp. Some of them are living in Cameroon now. Some of them are living in Niger Republic. Some of them are living in Mali now. IDP camp. Since Buhari came to power. So those ones who were there before, they didn't go back home. Because Fulani herdsmen further destroyed whatever was left or undone by the Boko Haram. But you see the one they created for Boko Haram, they called Operation Safe Corridor. So far, so good. That system, since Buhari came to power, secretly, before it became public, Buhari has been releasing, including those Buhari met in prison when he came to power. Like Kabiru Sokoto, the guy that bombed the church in Abuja, December, Christmas Day bomber in Abuja. You remember him? Buhari had to release him. Today, Kabiru Sokoto is suing Nigeria for arresting him illegally. The guy that confessed. The two suicide bombers who killed themselves, detonated the bomb at that church that day. The two of them, they were students of Kabiru Sokoto, who has a Islamic school in the outskirts of Abuja. Kabiru Sokoto, arrested, convicted, sent to jail. Buhari released him. Today, they've released him. The guy is now suing Nigeria that they arrested him illegally. He's asking for compensation. And he's going to get it as long as Buhari is there. Because that is the only successful committee Buhari set up for himself, not for Nigerians. So that they can keep the army, their fighting army, always nourished. While those victims of Boko Haram are languishing, dying, you need to see their pictures. You need to see their videos. It's sad. Boko Haram fighters are getting rehabilitated. They have been given, they call them repentant Boko Haram fighters. So that senator, the governor of Yobe State, in whose state Leah Sharibu was kidnapped, raped, abused, sold off as slave to another Boko Haram leader, now raped again and again. And the news we have now is that she just put to bed a few months back. That was the state, Yobe State. She was one of the Dapchi girls. Nigerian government paid 13.5 million euros for the release of Dapchi girls. But the Boko Haram fighters kept Leah Sharibu because she won't renounce her religion. That is what the media tells us. Now she's sold off, married off to a terrorist, and the governor from that state still got re-elected or elected to become senator, and that governor is in Abuja proposing law that Nigeria can set up an agency. People will actually go there, like you will employ for a job. You go and say, my brother, where do you work? I say, I'm working at the agency for repentant Boko Haram. That's where I work. Say, which one be that? It's a new agency now. I'm a senior executive there. So you go out there and you address people, and Nigerians trust them. If Satan can pay, Nigerians will market you. Seriously. And you will be convinced. Trust me. And that is exactly why Buhari will continue to have people supporting him. So they killed. The war is not over. Why are you releasing the terrorists? People are still being killed. People are still being killed. As at yesterday, and Buhari's government has released so far over 4,000 Boko Haram fighters. Over 4,000. From investigation, some of them have returned back to the war front, fighting Nigeria again. And those of them, they said they have recruited in Nigerian army, which they keep denying. They keep denying. And it's true. It is. They said they are using them for a particular operation in Nigerian army in order to spy on the Boko Haram and end the war. You captured over 4,000. Are you telling me that at least not up to 100 of them are real Boko Haram fighters? And they couldn't tell you, give you locations, operation procedure, how they recruit, give you information that you could work with to end this war. They couldn't get that from them. Think about that. Who is a fool? They said, Mayegun, don't send Buhari details out of your page. You are also criticizing the government. You should let people criticize you too. Hello. I am not criticizing government. If you like, lick their asses. If you like, turn yourself to human shield for them. It's your problem. It's not my problem. I am only enlightening you to let you know the consequences of the choice you are making. Whatever you do with it is your problem. But when you come on my page and you start taking on people, calling people bastards, simply because of what they say about Buhari. Where's your father? Can your father be like Buhari? That is not a criticism. That is a stupidity. Because you will love to deviate. Someone is talking about the insecurity, and then you will see this dunderhead Buhari Tidemi. He will jump there and he will say, what has your father done for Nigeria? What the heck is wrong with you people? You can go to where banters. I enjoy it. You can go to where mindless, cordless, and spineless people like you operate. Go there and laugh. Don't come here and form some sort of a stupidity on here, bringing religion, your tribal nonsense, and then using that from that myopic, microscopic view, right, or lens, to then, take that to look at every one of us. There are serious people on here who sat to listen to Mayegun, and that's why we don't want you here. I keep saying it. If you want to engage people in conversation, if you want to disagree with people, fine, disagree with people. Let Aisha Buhari come here and defend her husband. Let what's that girl's name? All his children, let them come out and defend their father. Let Tinubu's children defend him on social media. Not you. And if you want to do that, do it in a way that will portray you as not an humbled slave or an obedient fool or a sophisticated moron or maybe a Mumumadu Bele lecturer or Mumule. Don't bring that onto Mayegun's Diary and expect to have a free ride. No, you won't. You will not advertise Buhari on Mayegun's Diary. You will not come here and call people names because you want to defend Buhari. You will not. Yeah, you will not stay on Mayegun's Diary, right? And flex muscle with the followers of Mayegun's page simply because they are pouring out their disagreement. They are pouring out their anger. They are pouring out their displeasure about the terrorist government you all endure or install in Nigeria there. Don't come on Mayegun's Diary and expect that and call it criticism. Criticism kill you there. Go out there and open a page and criticize Mayegun or criticize those on Mayegun's Diary. Don't come here. Doing that because you want to tell us that the killings are not enough or they don't just start today. Because the poverty in Nigeria are not enough because they didn't just start today. You want to tell us that? That's your line of argument. You should find other KG3 children pages to join. You will make a lot of senses to them there. Not here. And that's why I've told you, do not build your expectation on Mayegun's Diary because the truth will never make you comfortable at all. As much as I say my mind all the time, I always know how, it's just I've learned how to receive the truth. But I know how it makes you feel when someone faces you like this and tells you to your face, this is it. Genuinely, not those social media cretins and social Facebook adsmen that just want to tell you, is your father, can your father be like Tinubu? Is that an argument? When we talk about the degenerated, the deplorable state of Lagos State, better than what it should be, then you come there and you say, what has your father done? Is that an argument? A typical Nigerian. You can find some KG3 pages on Facebook or Twitter to join and follow. You will make a hell of a sense to them there. So let's round this up. SARS killing people. SARS killing people is no longer a story. There's always a rage. We will lament, we will scream, and after a week, everybody goes back to their normal until the next one. It's like something like, wash, rinse, dry, wash, rinse, dry, wash, rinse, dry, and then, repeat that again and again and again. It's the same story. Dreams shattered, hopes destroyed, right? Life taken. SARS, criminals, we call them. Their duty, they are not legitimate, by the way. There's no law that establishes established SARS and SARS or SIX or whatever the other different funny names they give themselves. There's no law that established them. Their jobs or their what do you call it, operation description does not warrant what they are doing. But are you telling me that there are no people in Abuja? There are no people in different government houses in Nigeria who have been reading all these stories too. And they never for once thought like, even the police IG and all those police commissioners across the country. Are you telling me that Nigeria is so local that these people don't know or read about all these stories at all? Are you telling me that? They killed a young guy in the Shagam yesterday. A young aspiring man, a footballer. They killed him. They said he was a suspected Yahoo boy. Everyone is a suspected Yahoo boy to these miscreants with guns. If I'm in Nigeria, that is why some of you who are Buhari Dins and the Buhari Didins, the Buhari Dinotus and the Buhari Dijatus, who always want to say, it's because you hate Buhari. I don't know how to describe you. Because most of the time, the reason why you are saying all of this is because you wish this boy is in Nigeria. I wish this boy is in Nigeria. They should teach him a lesson. A slave mentality. What do I call it? A slave mentality. I am telling you what will likely affect you too. later. I am not affected. I'm not affected. SARS, SAC, DSS, your criminal police, all of them, they have no chance. But can you say the same if you are living in Nigeria? Now, I am telling you that do you want to be a victim before you also see reason that are there no people in the place or position of authority to end this? Reform the police as everyone, we've been shouting, screaming, answers, this, that, blah, 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 blah. And we keep the bodies, we keep counting the bodies. A young footballer was killed. He had hope. He was a defender for a local football team, which means he should be known. But these criminals who are doing all this nonsense across the southwest, southeast, south right now, some of them, they are just like organized criminals. They don't even have to know anybody in the locality. When it breaks my heart. Imagine Mayegun. Mayegun, I love Mayegun. I love this guy. I love listening to him. I love listening to this guy. Blah, 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 blah. And then the following morning, Mayegun RIP. Police, you killed Mayegun. Police killed Mayegun. Man, after 1 week, everybody goes back to banters. Think about that. I am here, safe, sound, alive. No threat of anyone busting my door, choking me or shooting me to death, and say I am a Yahoo boy. There's no chance. Right? But if I was in Nigeria, I stand no chance to last this long. Except if I found one Baba that is telling me that, don't worry, they will not catch you. They will not catch you, but they will be looking for you. You know that kind of life. Life of you don't know what is coming. That is the life that many who come on Mayegun's diary to abuse me, to call me names. That is the life many of you live. And it is the reality. No joke. You go out in the morning, they accuse you of being a Yahoo boy. You stand no chance of defending yourself. They either extort you, they will maltreat you, beat you, do all of that. You come on social media, you tell us about it. We all talk about it. We move on. But when Mayegun come, or when you see Mayegun live, talking about the incompetency, the insincerity, the deceitfulness of political leaders, the decision makers, the opinion leaders, the religious leaders, when Mayegun start talking about them, and then relating all of them to these abnormalities happening in our society, then you flare up. You start abusing him. You start calling him names. This Mayegun is stupid. I even thought he has sense. What is Oyedepo business? What is Adeboye's business? What is Buhari's business with SARS shooting people? Mad people everywhere. That's why I'm not threatened. That's why I'm not. I'm so used to it. So every time you see me want to make my trouble, don't pity me. I have my audience that I'm targeting. If I want to target those religious bigots, those ones that will always sound intelligent, they will always sound like intelligent, like, enlightened. But the moment they see a post that says something about their religion, hey, they will lose all senses. Everything gone. Man, you will start seeing their other side. And you start asking yourself, like, oh boy. There are some that are actually like, I read that all the time. They will say, this is the first time this Mayegun is posting something sensible. No, it will always be the first time Mayegun will be making sense to you. Because some of you who are in this category of, you don't use your senses. That's why you will be fighting, defending something that will harm you. Simply because you think the way the person presented it, align it to a religion that you are sort of, adherent to. Then you lose your senses. You lose the senses of understanding the situation, the sense of protection in a way that you can be alerted to say, wow, I never thought about what this guy has been saying. I never even saw it this way before. Everyone needs to be alerted. So you need to use your open mind. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining me. We hope that one day they will do something about SARS. I don't know. I'm so scared to even go to Nigeria. That's why I've said for the next 4 years, God help Nigeria and God help Nigerians. Because that's what everyone will say. God help us. God help us. So for the next 4 years, we did here and we will be praying for you. So for those who expected that we should change things differently, why you support the criminals, right? I'm not going to ask you to change anything. Do your thing. Day your day. Okay? But those who deserve this information, those who deserve this sermon, those who deserve this enlightenment, this exposure, this expository presentation on my Egun's diary all the time, let them enjoy it in peace. Kindly enjoy your own hoopla in peace too. And when they get to you, we will talk about you. Thank you very much, everyone, for your time. Enjoy the rest of the day and have a wonderful weekend. Thank you. Sorry, I wasn't able to read some of the comments, but I'll read them later soon anyway. Thank you very much, everyone, for your time. Alexa, turn it up to 7.
All the promise when I make, they gonna be like saying I fake. Where the money, where the food, everybody want it. I see you come the tears and say, without trying to complain. I see the bad way you've been doing.
If you haven't shared the video, you should share it.
97%